Alright, today I'm going to show you a technique that has never let me down. I've used this technique for a long time. I know there's lots of ways to get pieces off the wheel, and I'm going to show you one that I've used forever and ever. I've showed a lot of students how to do this. The first step, back to our friend torch. What I'm going to do is this is in the interest of time. If I had all day, I would just let this kind of sit and dry out a little bit naturally. But since that's not really an option here, I just want to dry the rim. The rim up here is important because you want to cover this piece with plastic before you run out of here to your next class. But I also want to dry down here a little bit where slip might be hiding, because I'm going to have to interact with that area a little bit. So just keep moving the torch up and down. Aim it inside a little bit. The torches don't like to be right upside down, so they have kind of a bent neck on them. Okay, so now it's not sticky, it's not tacky to the touch, and the rim is a little bit dry. You can see it's not super flexible. So I'm confident when I take it off, I can cover it in plastic. Okay? So first things first, we're going to take off the front wheel collar. Okay? Now I hope you can see this. I'm going to slowly spin the wheel. You don't have to do it this way. You can just use a sponge, but I find it convenient just to pour a little pool of water, like a moat, around the bottom of my piece. All right? You could just easily do that with a sponge, but I do it that way because the water's already here. All that excess water, probably a lot of it if you're a beginner, pour it back in your bucket, because that's good slip. Get a wear board. This is a little bit of Coroplast, sign making material that I cut into little squares. It's plastic. For really wet pieces, I would consider using a board, because boards are absorbent and they'll absorb some of the water. In this case, this piece is going to get trimmed later. I'll probably end up flipping it over, so I'm going to use plastic. I think for your money, boards unwrapped would be the way to go. Alright, let's talk about these guys. These are the demon that has destroyed thousands of pieces in their lifetime. Number one, they're all covered with little crumbs, because it's the last thing people do. They touch these with their slippy, muddy hands, and all these crumbs fall onto your piece. And they're impossible to get these little chunkies out of here. Okay? The second thing is the whole wire, you can see, is coated, and you go to slide your fingers down it, and sometimes it's frayed and it'll stab you in the fingers. Third thing is this wire is jumpy. Alright? And you'll do something real fast and it will slice right through the rim of your piece, or one of these handles will go flying and it'll ding into the side. Be careful. Pick them up carefully. What you're going to want to do is wrap it around your fingers until you can just make it around your piece. And then you're going to take and drag the water right underneath. Over the top, do it again. Usually by the third time you do this, you've dragged enough water that the piece starts moving. Now, what do? I'm trapped. I have both hands underneath the piece and the wire. I got to let go of one. Just let go of one side of the wire and put your finger in front of it to hit the brakes, and slide the wire the rest of the way out. Now don't screw around now. Don't walk away and go get coffee. You're going to hold the board just a little bit lower right here than the actual wheel. Bring your hand around to the back as low as you can and slide the piece onto the board. Alright? The worst thing that happens is people sometimes slide it too far, or they're not holding the board enough and it drops the piece on the floor. I've never done that. I wouldn't know. Right? So that piece is off the wheel now, and you can see there's quite a bit of slip around the bottom. I don't want to leave it sitting here like this for too long, but that's another discussion. So that's how you get the form off the wheel. And that's also how you dry the rim with the torch.